All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going deep into the world of social media. But forget the posts and pictures for a second. We're talking about the data behind all of it. I mean, it's no secret, right? Businesses are everywhere on social media. They're using it to connect, to sell stuff, to build up their brands. It's a huge, powerful tool for growth. But here's the thing. Every single time you like, share, or even just pause on a video, you're creating a data point. So what happens to all that data? Where does it go? That's the big question we're digging into. Okay, so you really have to think of social media as this giant exchange, a sort of digital bargain. It's a two-way street, and it's super important to understand what you're giving and what you're getting back. Here's the deal. Businesses get these incredible insights from our data, which helps them make better products and ads. And what do we get? We get these amazing platforms that connect us with people all over the world. And they're free. So yeah, today we're going to unpack both sides of that deal. All right, let's get into it, starting with the business side of things. How exactly are companies using all this data to win? First up, they're measuring everything. We're talking likes, shares, comments, the whole shebang. They roll that up into something called an engagement rate. And these aren't just for show. They're trying to see if their content is actually leading to something real, like a sale. That's what we call a conversion. So what you have is basically a real-time feedback loop. If a campaign is crushing it with high engagement, they know they've hit gold. If it's a dud, they can switch things up on the fly. And for you folks in product, this data can literally influence what gets built next, maybe a UI tweak or a whole new feature. It's all about making smarter decisions fast. But it gets way more advanced than just counting likes. Companies use these really powerful tools for something called sentiment analysis. Basically, it's AI, usually natural language processing, that scans the internet for mentions of a brand and figures out the vibe. Are people happy, angry, don't care? This tech gives them the public's mood on a massive scale. And you can see why this is such a game changer, right? On one hand, they can jump into positive conversations and build up this loyal community. On the other, they can spot a negative tweet storm brewing and jump on it before it becomes a full-blown PR disaster. It's both offense and defense for their brand. Okay, let's make this real. Imagine a company is launching a new product. The market is super crowded and they have to make a good first impression. So, what's the game plan? They dive headfirst into social media analytics. They're not just shouting into the void with ads, they are listening. They're tracking every comment, every review, every mention to figure out what people really think about their new baby. And the payoff? It's huge. By sifting through all that feedback, they spot a bug they totally missed in testing. Even better, they find a key feature that users think is clunky. So they respond, they fix it, and in the end, they actually build more trust. That is the power of listening with data. So, this power to listen and react is undeniably huge, but it's all fueled by one thing, our data. Which leads us to the other side of the story. What's the price we pay for all this? And that brings us to the other really critical side of the equation, because for any of this to be okay, to be ethical, it has to be balanced with our fundamental right to privacy. The cornerstone of this whole thing is the privacy policy. You know, that giant wall of text we all scroll past and click agree on. Well, it's supposed to be a contract. It's the company's promise to you about how they're going to handle your data. And a good one needs to be super clear. It has to spell out exactly what data they're collecting. Are we talking location, your clicks, your contacts, and why they need it? Is it for ads, to make the app better? This kind of transparency isn't just nice to have. In a lot of places, it's the law. And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at how our simplest actions online translate into data. You like a post? Boom, that refines your interest profile. You tag your location at a coffee shop? That builds your geolocation history. Every single click, every connection helps build this incredibly detailed digital map of you. So this all begs the question, who actually owns this data? More and more, the answer is leaning towards you. You should have control. That means the right to see what a company has on you, the right to fix it if it's wrong, and yep, the right to tell them to delete it all. Okay, so what can you actually do about all this? Well, it boils down to a few really good habits. Number one, actually check your privacy settings from time to time. They change. Number two, please use strong, unique passwords. And number three, probably the most important, just be mindful. Think for a second before you share something really sensitive online. And that brings us to the core challenge, the big balancing act. How do we square this? On one hand, you have this genuine business need for data. On the other, you have a non-negotiable human right to privacy. How do we make those two things work together? This really is the two-sided coin. You've got business goals, drive growth, understand customers, build better products. And then you have user privacy, control over our data, transparency about how it's used, and security, so it doesn't get misused. The goal, the sweet spot, is finding a way to serve both sides. Here's a simple way to remember the whole thing. For the business side, think SIC, success, interaction, and case studies. For the user side, think POP, policies, ownership, and privacy. SIC and POP. Those are the two halves of the coin for a digital world that actually works for everyone. So we'll leave you with this. A lot of you watching this are going to be the next generation of engineers and builders. You're the ones who will actually design these systems. So the question isn't just about how things are now. The real question is, how will you build a more trustworthy digital world? How will you design systems that get the data they need, but do it in a way that respects the user from the ground up? It's a huge challenge, and it's yours to solve. Thanks for tuning in.